Everyone, this is a video going over the verb phrase practice. And this is what we did during class on Thursday, but this is for if you missed anything that I said or you just wanted to hear it again. So we had 4 paragraphs here that you were coding to find verb phrases in. The first one was done for you, so I'll go over it a little bit more quickly, but I just want to explain a few of these in case you weren't sure why they were highlighted and underlined the way that they were. The first phrase that you have here is an interrupted verb phrase, which means that the helping verb and the main verb are separated from each other by a word that is not actually a part of the verb phrase. So was is my helping verb, and blurting is my main verb. I can tell that blurting is the main verb because it is the main action that Gregor is doing. Was is not a main action, and in fact, if I left was on its own in the sentence would not make sense anymore. It would say, well, Gregor was quickly all this out, which sounds like it's missing something. So that tells you that we need blurting in there. It's the main verb. Was is just helping tell me when this happened. But yes, quickly is not a part of the verb phrase. It is actually an adverb. So it is interrupting the verb phrase that I already have there. The next verb phrase you see is was saying. Was is my helping verb and saying is the main verb. It's the main action that Gregor is doing. Same thing here, had moved. I have had as my main verb or my helping verb, moved as my main verb. A tricky one is this one, had already had. Had is one of those weird verbs that sometimes can be used as a main verb and sometimes as a helping verb as well. So in this case, it's actually being used both ways, which is kind of confusing, I know. But the way that you can tell is if you take one of those hads out, it still makes sense. Probably as a result of the practice he already had in bed. It sounds okay on its own without the first had. So that tells me that this one is the helping verb and this one is actually the main verb. And I believe this was a typo on your original sheet. So if you do see this had highlighted, please change that so it's underlined. That was my fault. And finally, was trying. Was is my helping verb and trying is my main verb. All right, now we're moving on to the ones that you did on your own. So let's take a look at these. Was waking, that is the first thing that you should have had highlighted and underlined. Was is your helping verb. Waking is the main verb. It is the main action that Gregor does. Was is just helping me out, telling me more information about when this happened. I also have this one, had been changed. And this is one of the ones that I give you individual feedback on. But as you can see here, sometimes you can have more than one helping verb in a row. In fact, it can go up to 3, up to 4. Sometimes you see a lot of them pushed together. In this case, I have 2. So had and been are both helping verbs in this case. Changed is my main verb. It is the main thing that Gregor is doing. But all together, these 3 words make up a verb phrase, had been changed. Down here, I have another one of those interrupted verb phrases. So in this case, had and got go together as a verb phrase. Already is not a part of the verb phrase because it is an adverb. So it's not actually a part of the verb phrase. It's not actually a verb even. Had is my helping verb here. Got is my main verb. Already is just interrupting in the middle. I also have would finally have down here. And this is the same kind of thing. Would is my helping verb. Have is my main verb. Finally is not a part of the verb phrase. It should not be marked in any way. This one people had trouble noticing, I think, but would be is in fact a verb phrase. Would is my helping verb. Be, now this is another one kind of like had that's confusing. Now I do have it listed up here as a helping verb sometimes, but it can also be used as a main verb because sometimes the action that a thing is doing is just to be. For instance, in this case, it is simply being 7:15. That is the main action that is going on here. So once in a while, it is used in that way as a main verb, and that is the case here. Just a couple more we'll go over for number 4. Must have tried is another verb phrase that has more than one helping verb. Must and have should both be highlighted. They are both helping verbs. Tried is my main verb. And I can tell because if I took out the helping verbs, it still makes sense. He tried it 100 times. Sounds perfectly fine on its own. It's just missing a little bit of the information that the helping verbs give me. By adding in must have, it's giving me more information about the way that he tried it. Now, if I take out tried, it does not make sense. He must have it 100 times. Does not make sense. That's how I know that these are helping verbs, not main verbs. Another phrase I have is would and have. They are an interrupted verb phrase. So would is the helping verb, not is not a part of the verb phrase, and have is the main verb. And finally, one last interrupted verb phrase at the bottom here. Had is my helping verb. Never is not a part of the verb phrase. It is an adverb. And felt is my main verb. So hopefully that helped you understand. Also extra practice with verb phrases on your study guides. So please feel free to look at those as well.